back to the channel, and welcome to part 3, the last part of Rob's Hop On Hop Off Trolley Tour of Nashville, Tennessee. Let's get started.
When it was a temple to Athena over 2,000 years ago. It's actually sitting on the foundation, the one that was built for the centennial. Now the mesotopes, which are going to be the smaller statuettes, each section of the rectangle of the building represents an event in Greek history, like when the centaurs attacked the villagers, or when the Olympic gods battled the giants. Now, some of the land that Centennial Park sits on was once owned by Anne Robinson Carmichael, and she will become the first woman in what will become known as the state of Tennessee to get a land grant in her name only. And some will tell you the first school teacher for this area. Now her family will donate the land to the city of Nashville after the Civil War. Becomes a park, the West Side Park. It had a horse racing track and a fairgrounds. From the 1890s, we had a centennial here. And then from 1914 to 1920, the women's suffrage movement would hold their rallies here. Now first, they meet state capitol, then make the way here to Centennial Park. In 1920, Tennessee becomes the 36th state to write upon the 19th Amendment. We were the state that gave it the 3/4 votes in the part of the Constitution. That was August 18th, 1920, passed with just one vote. Get your cameras ready, because right here in this little curve, look back to your left, you're going to get a great shot of the Parthenon with the city of Nashville, and I'll give you a quick moment to take that picture. All right, so that one vote, that gentleman's name was Harry T. Burns, and he was actually against the 19th Amendment up until basically the day of the vote. So what happened? What will change his mind? Mama happened. You see, not for the vote, he gets a letter from Mama. And Mama basically tells him he better be a good boy and vote for the 19th Amendment. So like any good Southern gentleman, he did exactly what Mama wanted. Everybody got that picture? All right, now keep your cameras handy, because soon we'll go down Weston Avenue and you'll get a great profile shot of the Parthenon. I'll give you the heads up for that too. So now we are heading toward Vanderbilt University. On to the Commodores. So everybody will need to anchor down. Cornelius Vanderbilt, shipping railroad tycoon, middle part of the 1800s. Now at his death, it is estimated he's worth about $105 million. If we were to account for inflation, and depending on your sources, he could be worth anywhere from $170 to $232 billion today. 1873. Methodist Bishop Hiram McAteer is this to Mr. Vanderbilt of New York. He's recuperating from recent medical procedure. While he's there, he's talking to the Commodore about the merits of building a university in Nashville. And the man must have been a sweet, smooth talker. Mr. Vanderbilt gave him $1 million to make that happen. Now, from what we've read, or what I've read, Mr. Vanderbilt rarely gave him money. But the purpose was to heal some of the ones left over from Civil War. So Hiram McAteer comes back to Nashville, oversees the construction university. One of his side projects is the planting of trees and bushes that are still here today. It makes the entire campus a national arboretum. Over 300 species of trees and bushes are scattered around the campus. The campus is a little under 350 acres. Approximately 13,000 students attend Vanderbilt. That's graduate, undergraduate tuition, around $65,000 a year. You add in the books, the boarding, the food, then we're looking at about $85,000 a year to attend Vanderbilt. The nickname for the school is known as the Harvard of the South, but they like to think Harvard is the Vanderbilt of the North. Some people that are descendants of Cornelius Vanderbilt, you may have heard of, Gloria Vanderbilt, the boating designer, her son Anderson Cooper, and then also the actor Timothy Oliphant. Remember the TV series Justified? He was the lead character. On your left, this is Centennial Park. Get your cameras ready. Now you're going to get that profile shot. If you look to your left about right now, on either side of that tree is going to be a good look. Now you're hearing that music. That's called Musician's Corner, so there'll be free music today and I believe tomorrow. On your right will be Vanderbilt University. To your front right, student housing. Even that tower, a part of it, student housing. Vanderbilt Hospital has 13 medical units. It is the only level 1 trauma center in the Middle Tennessee area. The Vanderbilt School of Medicine awards its first diploma back in 1875 to 61 individuals. Today, They are ranked 13th out of 125 accredited medical schools in the United States. One of their noble alumni, Dr. Levi Watkins Jr., first African-American to graduate from School of Medicine back in 1971, a cardiologist and a civil rights activist. He did his undergraduate work in town as well at Tennessee State University. 1980, he and his assistant Vivian Thomas are the first in the world to implant an automatic defibrillator in the human patient. Did that at Johns Hopkins University. On your left, this Victorian Gothic Revival building is the Weston Avenue United Methodist Church. 1947, Sarah Colleague, Minnie Pearl, married Henry Cannon right here. Street coming up to your right, there'll be a statue of Cornelius Vanderbilt. Never visited Nashville, never saw what his money had created. If you look to your right, behind all these vehicles, you'll see Cornelius. I spoke about Vivian Thomas a moment ago. Over in the Marathon Village area is where he graduated from high school here in Nashville in the 1920s. Earl High School, the all-black high school in town. Intends to go to college, but the stock market crash in 1929, the Great Depression, had changed his plans. He started a family, so he goes to work as a carpenter. Gets a job right here at Vanderbilt. Works as a lab assistant for Dr. Blaylock. Now, Dr. Blaylock works on experimental search techniques. First, he tries them out on animals. Once successful, translates them over to human search procedures. Now, the building coming up on your right-hand side is going to be what we call the Baker Building. And in the 1960s, inside this building would be a recording studio. And this is where Jimmy Buffett records his very first album, Down to Earth. It's a mixture of country and folk music, but right here to your left is where Jimmy Buffett's first album is recorded. Dr. Blaylock. Now, he sees something in Vivian Thomas. His intelligence, creativity, dexterity, their attributes. And he starts using him and helping him create those search techniques. Gets a job offer his old school at Johns Hopkins University. He takes it, brings Vivian Thomas with him. Now, while they're there, they create a search technique that solves a problem known as the blue baby syndrome. Some of the things they use are things they learned right here at Vanderbilt. Now, to illustrate how gifted Vivian Thomas was, remember, just has a high school diploma, but at Johns Hopkins University, he is teaching others to be surgeons. And some of them, well, they go on to be some of the prominent surgeons of their time here. Early 2000s, they will make a movie about his life. It's called Something That the Lord Made, starring Alan Rickman and Mos Def. When he's assisting Dr. Levi Watkins Jr., Vivian Thomas is in his 70s. Now, in the 1970s, Johns Hopkins University will award him an honorary law degree. And today, they divide their incoming medical students into 4 groups. One of the groups is known as the Vivian Thomas Group. So we're in Midtown, and our next stop is where you'll find Hattie B's, and they're known for their hot chicken. If you've never had hot chicken, you like your taste buds, you might not want to try the hottest of their chicken. Remember, y'all, whatever you put into your system eventually has to leave your system. And if that's not enough warning for you, if you take on the challenge of the hottest of the hot, they're going to make you sign an affidavit. So that should be a friendly reminder how hot the chicken can get. Now, of course, they got a variety of levels from mild to the hottest of hot. It is a very popular place. There could be a line, and for those who don't want to stand in line, you can always go online, call it in, pick it up. There's a park right there to your right called Adelasia Park, named for the lady that built the Belmont Mansion, which is stop number 10. Or you can always get back onto the trolley. There is no rule that says you can't eat hot chicken on the trolley. Now, if you do that, it would be kind and generous of you to bring a chicken leg for your driver, but probably not too hot or spicy, because, you know, still got to give tours, and it's really hard to talk if you can't feel your tongue. Now, for those who don't want to stand in line, and you don't want to be online, you just want some hot chicken, you got to have it right here, right now in Midtown. Well, just past this building here to your left is a road. Up that road to your left is a place called the Row Kitchen and Pub. Good hot chicken, pretty good barbecue. And for those not looking for hot chicken, just one nice meal. Variety of restaurants right here in the Midtown area. Like here to your right, Urban Cookhouse. Very robust American menu. But they source the ingredients here locally. Farm to table is their concept. But at the red light, across the street to the left in that corner is where you'll find Hattie B's. Now, you'll find a trolley here about every 20 minutes or so. But the last tour of the day is leaving stop 1 at 4 o'clock. And remember, all tours after 4 o'clock, they stop, well, the last tour today will, or let's just say all tours after 4 o'clock, we end at stop number 13. But look to your left, there's Hattie B's. The folks in line are in line for Hattie B's. And here we are, stop number 9. For those who know, watch step, use a handrails. She's a ladies' man, tall and handsome. The woman he's with at the time is said to have a jealous nature to her. One night he's going to test her out by staying out late. I mean, really late. Now it's a Saturday night, and Thornton Prince is out there having a great time. Maybe such a good time, he loses track of time. We don't know. But what we do know is at home, she is watching that clock like a hawk. And as the evening progresses, she starts to wonder where he's at. Why is he not home yet? And then she begins to ponder the whys, and maybe he's out there talking to some other ladies. And the longer she thinks about it, it just grows and festers to a point where she becomes furious, wants to seek revenge. So the next morning, she won't teach him a lesson. She picks his favorite food, chicken. But this morning, she won't fix it with a little twist. She goes look for anything and everything that's hot and spicy in her kitchen, convinced of cooking that bird. I'm sure she cooks the chicken to a point she thinks it's going to be humanly impossible to eat it without some form of pain being involved. Now, as the chicken is cooking, she's probably thinking about the different reactions she's going to see when he bites into hot chicken. She's not thinking about this reaction. The man absolutely loves her hot chicken. Will tell anyone that will listen about how good it was. We don't know who she is, but her hot chicken is still here in town. Thornton Prince and his brother did open a place eventually called Prince's Chicken Barbecue Shop. Today, family members still run a version of it called Prince's Hot Chicken. There's a location down on Broadway in that complex called Bentham Broadway. The best stop for that is going to be stop number 2, right across the street from Ryman, on the second floor with all those other eateries that are there. All right, so we're turning on to Music Road, 17th Avenue South. Where dreams are made, sometimes hearts are broken. And over here on your left hand side is going to be a place called Southern Ground. In 1903 was the Addison Avenue covered Presbyterian Church. Now the late 60s it becomes a recording studio, Monument Records, they put ropes in them out. 2012 the Zach Brown Band bought it, renovated it, turned it into a recording studio. Now in 2012 the Zach Brown Band bought it, renovated it, turned this into the recording studio as well. Now in the last couple of years it's been on the market for about $10 million. But some of the people were not built for all those years. Allman Brothers, Eric Clapton, Neil Young, Indigo Girls, Brian Seltzer, Grandpa Jones, Jerry Lewis, Mel Beltos, Roger Miller, Dottie West, Keely Valentino, the Foo Fighters, Taj Mahal, Chris Christopherson, and of course, the Zach Brown Band. Would be helpful if I turned the sound on, wouldn't it? And right next door is Sony ATV, world's largest music publishing company. Some songs are catalogs with rainbows, singing in the rain. New York, ain't no mountain high enough. Alright, so next intersection we come to historic RCA Studio B. Elvis, he records over 200 songs here. The microphone he sang into, the piano he picked up the average on, the Christmas lights he used to get in the mood for Christmas while doing that album in July's inside there. Best way to torch to the Country Music Hall of Fame. Here's a little Elvis for you. See Elvis perform as a kid. I was 10 years old. My mom was a big fan of Elvis. All I remember is women, he had these scarves on and he would throw them out to the audience and these women would just fight over those scarves. But there's RCA Studio B, then right next door is RCA Studio A, known as the Abbey Road in Nashville. Dolly Parton recorded Jolene here back in 1974. B.B. King, the Beach Boys, the Monkees. Now more recently, Chris Stapleton recorded some of his songs here. And right next door to them is Starstruck Entertainment, once owned by Reba McEntire. She went to divorce. Now her ex-husband is the owner. Two state-of-the-art recording shows inside there. Reba, Vince Gill, Alison Krauss, Lionel Richie, John Bon Jovi, just to name some people that record there. Now here's a little Reba for you. Was located in the 1970s. That's where they created the outlaw music. Waylon Jennings, Willie Nelson, Chris Christopherson, and some of the others. Next red light across street to your left in that corner It's going to be another recording studio, originally a church. Ocean Waves, Nashville. The wood, the open spaciousness creates a unique blend of sound when recording. Alice Cooper, Peter Frampton, John Fogerty, Bob Seger, Avril Lavigne, Celine Dion, Christina Aguilera, Beyonce, Juvenile, Bright Eyes, Kings of Leon, Leonard Skinner, Billy Ray Cyrus, Beck, No Doubt, Yo-Yo Ma, Dolly Parton, Megadeth, Spice Girls, so many others that recorded there. Now the early years, when it was a church, Tennessee Williams' grandfather was the rector here, so Tennessee Williams spent some of his childhood here. Now they also do soundtracks for video games like Call of Duty, Madden Football, Fortnite, and some of the others. And then part of the soundtrack to Oh Brother Wart Thou was for Rock Hall Street to your left and Ocean Waves. So y'all, this place to your left is bona fide. To our left is another recording studio. But they have a very unique business model here in Nashville for the music industry. It has an open door policy. It's called Jay's Place. What's an open door policy? Well, you go open that porch, ring the doorbell, Jay answers the door, doesn't have anything to do. For a fee, he will guide you around recording studio. You can spend the night in the room that's above the recording studio. That will get you a private tour of the recording studio. I also want you to pay attention to the sign that's out front of this stone house. Designed by Shel Silverstein, noted children's author of The Giving Tree Where the Sidewalk Ends. And he was a songwriter, and he wrote a song that Johnny Cash recorded. So think about that for a moment. But just here on the left-hand side, the stone house coming up, got music rolling inside of it. That's Jay's Place. And there has that sign, designed by Shel Silverstein. And in the Jonas Group Entertainment, well, that is the Jonas Brothers' father's company right there. All right, so Johnny Cash sang a song that Shel Silverstein recorded. Anybody want to take a guess what that song was? It's humorous, has a twist to it. The twist is in the title. Boy Named Stupid, absolutely right. Now, Johnny doesn't know anything about this song until 2 days before the San Quentin Prison concert. See, Johnny would invite people up to his house there in Hendersonville on the lake, and they would do a guitar pull, which is they would pass the guitar around. Shel Silverstein's there that night, so it came his turn, he played the song. Johnny liked the song. June Carter Cash loved the song. So much so, she told Johnny he needed to play that song 2 days later, so he does. So when he watched the video, knows this is a last-minute decision. Chad Atkinson voice playing on the fly, and Johnny, watch him, kind of chuckles to himself, but he's also reading the lyrics of the song on a piece of paper that's in front of him. Boy Named Stu. Well, my daddy left home. One of Johnny's biggest hit that same year, Shel Silverstein recorded that song too. If you remember the band Dr. Hook and the Medicine Show, they recorded some of his songs, and Shel Silverstein had 2 albums on his own. We're now heading to the Belmont Mansion, built as a summer home back in 1853 for a prominent socialite and businesswoman, Adelasia Hayes, Franklin from Cheatham, and her second husband, Joseph Ackland, a war hero from the Mexican War. Now, her first husband, Isaac Franklin, was 28 years her senior, so when he passed away, she inherits a lot of things, like 7 plantations down in Louisiana, a plantation on Gallup called Fairview, 50,000 acres of undeveloped land in Texas, stocks and bonds, 750 slaves. Now, she and Joseph Ackland, they buy about 175 acres here, and they build a Villa Monte, which is Italian for beautiful mountains, an Italian-style villa. 19,000 square feet, 36 rooms. She had 10 children all together, but none of the children from the first marriage lived past age 11. When her first husband, Isaac Franklin, passed away, 2 months later, 2 of their daughters died of respiratory problems. Now, one son from the second marriage was an author, art collector, another son a congressman from Louisiana. Now, their father, Joseph Ackland, passes away due to malaria while overlooking the plantation down in Louisiana during the Civil War. Husband number 3, Dr. Cheatham, a prominent doctor here in town. Now, she made him and Joseph Ackland sign a prenuptial stating that she owned and controlled all the businesses and property she brought to the marriage. So this is a forward-thinking lady. Now, right before her death, in 1887, she sold the land and the mansion to a real estate developer Louis D. Baxter for $54,000. Now he is the one that will see the development of the Belmont area. 1890, two women from Philadelphia buy the mansion, turn it into the Belmont School for Girls. Early 20th century, it merged with Ward Seminary, becomes known as Ward Belmont. Now in the 1950s, the Baptist Convention buys it, becomes Belmont College and Co-ed, and then by the 1990s, Belmont University. Here's one of their alumni, Tricia Yearwood. Ian Womack, Brad Paisley, Mary Martin of Peter Pan fame, Sarah Colley, Minnie Pearl. Ian Clark, who played for the NBA champion Golden State Warriors a few years ago. And both guys from the Florida Georgia line met here, one graduated from here. Now, Adelasia, got images of her as well as to mention. Now, she was the richest woman in Tennessee and one of the richest women in the United States in the latter part of the 1800s. And she loved to go shopping. And on one of her trips to New York City, she contracts pneumonia, passed away in one of the hotels on Fifth Avenue. So you could say she shopped till she dropped. The mansion's on your right-hand side, at the top of the hill on the left-hand side. Go to that porch, ring the doorbell, they'll let you in. On your left is the Lila D. Bunch Library. Inside the library is the Gig. It houses early 20th century guitars and mandolins. There's purple banjos. There's a Les Paul guitar, as well as some of Vince Gill's musical instrument collection is on display. But here on your right, top of the hill, left-hand side, the part that's painted, that's the mansion. Well, we're Trolley here by every 20 minutes or so. But the last tour day is leaving stop point at 4 o'clock. And remember, all tours after 4 o'clock will end at stop 13. To the south of us. There's a lot of damage done over 15 days. Adelasia calculates the damage done, gives the bill to the federal government. The government says, we're not paying. And she keeps track, though, with interest on how much is owed the family. So when she passed away in 1887, they knew exactly how much was owed to them due to the damage done in the Battle of Nashville. Now, the very first radio station in all of Nashville was right here at Belmont University in the days when it was known as Ward Belmont. 1922, WDAA on a 20-watt radio transmitter. 16-year-old Jack DeWitt was on the mic. He played classic music. Graduates from Vanderbilt with a degree in engineering. Becomes chief engineer, Depson Radio. World War II begins, so he joins the military as in the Singapore. 1946, we see him leading a project called Anna. Now, they were the first to witness the bouncing of a radio wave off the moon. It's the beginning of radar astronomy, precursor for our space program. It's how we map places like Venus. And maybe, just maybe, we learned that the moon was not made of cheese. Now, he moves back to Nashville, becomes president of Depson Radio until 1968. There are two components of Music Row. We came in on 17th Avenue, and we'll leave out on 16th Avenue. Been a lot of songs written about Music Row. Here's one that Lacey Dalton sang, 16th Avenue. We'll leave back on 16th Avenue. Approximately 60,000 people make their living here in Nashville music industry. Largest concentration of music folks per capita in the world. They add about $10+ billion to our local economy. Now, Music Row looks like a traditional neighborhood, and that's because it's zoned residential commercial. Most of the houses on Music Row are businesses. Inside, architecturally, they can do whatever they want to. It's the outside. They gotta make it look like somebody lives in that house. Dolly Parton, she wrote and sang a song about Music Row. Here's a sampling of it. Down on Music Row. 60s, first time recording RCA Studio B. She's running late, she hits the building. Some say you still see remnants of the wreck on the building. In her memoir, she laughed and said that was her first hit on Music Row. Well, next up, on your left-hand side, is going to be a place called Big Yellow Dog Studios. And they represent songwriters, performers like Megan Trainor. Remember her?
Because you know I'm all about that.
Neil Towns, many others they represent. But it's on your left-hand side. They got the sign here. And then it's going to be a house with a yellow door. And so on your left-hand side, that's the Big Yellow Dog Studios. Now, kind of corner to your right, the greenhouse on the corner. First is Jack's Tracks. And then it becomes the Amarillo Studios. This is where Garth Brooks records all of his albums except for the Chris Gaines album. Crystal Gale recorded Dungeon Maker Brown Eyes Blue. Today, it's owned by Garth Brooks. He named it in honor of Al Reynolds. It's called Allentown Studios. Now, we have an evening tour. It's called the Soul of Music City, and they come down this way as well. At times, they have seen Garth Brooks right here on the sidewalk. About 3 or 4 months ago, they were here, and there was Garth Brooks there on the sidewalk. And one of the guest that night was actually getting ready to go into chemo, and one of her bucket lists was to meet Garth Brooks. So he actually come onto the trolley and interacted with the guest that night. Now on your left is going to be Big Machine Records. Now they represent people like Steven Tyler, Versatile Fame, Cheap Trick, Rascal Flatts, Florida Georgia Line, Reba, up until 2018, Taylor Swift. Stonehouse to your left, the building next to the Stonehouse, and then the house next to the building. That's all Big Machine Records. It's called the house that Taylor built. 2019, it all sells for $330 million. At the red light, across the street to the left on that corner, Big Loud. They're the first to bring you the Florida Georgia Line. And then across the street to your right on that corner, Smack. And they represent songwriters like Sam Hunt. You never know what's going to inspire a song. Here's an example. At one point here in Music Row, there's a restaurant. And one day some songwriters are here having lunch, having a great time. Of course, at some point, gotta wrap it up, gotta pay the bill. And that's when Earl Budley realized he didn't have his wallet on him. Other guys got wind of that information, started giving him a hard time, written him saying, hey, you're going to have to go back there and do some dish paper that meal. He said he wasn't worried, he knew the cook because Spence Manor Hotel, this is where Elvis, Nick Sinatra, the Beatles, the Stones, you name, when they were in town, this is where they would stay. Right next door behind the wooden fence is a guitar-shaped pool created by Will Pierce as a tourist attraction. Look at that slip right there. You'll see that guitar-shaped pool. You see, back in the day to your right would have been the Country Music Hall of Fame. Now, some will tell you that Elvis swam in that pool, and there's a problem. You see, Elvis passed away in 77. The pool was built in 78. All right, so you're looking here in front of you at the largest group bronze statue in the United States, created by Nashville and Alan LaQuarn, the same man that did a statue of Athena at the Parthenon. It's entitled Musica, but we call it Nudica. Now, in that spirit, instead of a roundabout, well, we got a round the butt. I think you'll see why. Very controversial when they put it in, early 2000s. Groups would come up here with their bed sheets to hide their nakedness. Now, this is the Buddy Killen Circle, a bass player on the Grand Ole Opry, hired by Tree Publishing, find hit songs like D-I-B-O-R-C-E and Heartbreak Hotel. Eventually, he owned Tree Publishing. Today, it's owned by Sony ATV. On the other side of the park, here on the roundabout, is going to be this Owen Bradley Park. He's there at the piano. Now, the sheet music there is the songs Crazy and Sweet Dreams. He was the musical arranger for Classic Hunt, so all of her songs are recorded at Kwanzaa Hut. He's one of the men that created what we know today as the Nashville Sound. He, his brother Harold, and Chad Atkins are the ones that built RCA COA. On your right, BMI. They collect royalties from songwriters, composers, music publishing companies as well. On this hill during the Civil War would have been Fort Houston. Nashville is the second most fortified city here in the war, following just Washington, D.C. Shows you how important this city was for the Union Army here in the western part of the Civil War. Now, on the monitor, you'll see images of Nashville during the war. Tennessee, last state to leave the Union to join the Confederacy. We do that, it puts a big old bullseye right here on Nashville. It is the first Confederate capital to fall to Union hands. Never let go of the city. That's February of 1862. Confederate forces are going to try to retake the city, December of 1864. Army of Tennessee, under Command General John Hood, for 13 days to the south of us in Siege City. While the city is under siege, a circus happens to be here in town. 3 times a day, that circus performs. Day 14, the Union Army, the Army of Cumberland, under Command General Thomas, the Rock of Chickamauga, attack those Confederate lines. Now, the following day, the Confederate lines falter. They will retreat to Mississippi. Marks the last major battle here in Tennessee. Now, afterward, Tennessee becomes the first state to rejoin the Union. Now, we are looking at the Gulch, and it is one of the most expensive places in Nashville to live. Some of these condominiums will go for $2, $3, $4 million. It's one of the fastest growing areas in Nashville. Give you an idea of rent. A studio apartment will go for $1,700. A 3-bedroom apartment will go for $6,700 a month. The variety eateries are here. Like we start right here on Division Street, about 4 more blocks down. On your left, you'll get to a place called Party Fowl, known for their hot chicken. There's also like Biscuit Love, they make biscuits in all kinds of fashion. Peg Legs Porker, known for their southern barbecue. And then we got boutique shopping, like Lucchese Boots. Only 3 retail stores in the world. Now you will know where one's located. Their slogan is, legends wear the Casey. John Wayne, Johnny Cash, Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders, and so many others have worn or wear their boots. Two immigrants from Italy, shoemakers, and they made their way here to the United States the latter part of the 1800s to Texas, then to San Antonio. Now their first customers are the soldiers there at Fort Sam Houston. Now price ranges at Lucchese boots, I've been told, as low as $450, as high as $47,000. It just depends on how you accessorize your boots. Now this is the stop you'll use to see the angel wings on the black building. Also, we'll be stopping right there by the Station Inn. Been playing bluegrass there since the mid-70s. If you look to your left, you'll see the white building. It's the Gumbo Brothers. Right next to the Gumbo Brothers is Lucchese Boots. This is going to be stop number 11. We'll have a trolley here by every 20 minutes or so. But that last tour of the day is leaving stop 1 at 4 o'clock. And remember, all tours after 4 o'clock will end at stop 13, the Country Music Hall of Fame. For those getting off, watch step, use the handrails, enjoy your day here in Nashville. Stop number 11, the Gulch. The Industrial Central Railroad. So to our right would have been about 36 railroad tracks, a roundhouse, and then all around us would be the warehouses that serve those railroads. First train arrived here on the Riverboat Beauty, 1850. Second half of the 1800s, 5 different railroad lines that make Nashville its main hub. Now the largest of the 5 is the Louisville and Nashville Railroad, known as the L&N. Remember playing Monopoly? One of the railroad lines is the L&N. That's going to be the railroad line. Now during the Civil War, the L&N is the only railroad line that will connect the northern states to the southern states, allows the Union Army to easily supply stuff during the war. Now after the war, the L&N, it starts buying up so many different railroad lines, it gets the nickname the octopus. It looked like they had tentacles in all directions. A lot of football clubs here in town, times they would rub people the wrong way. Smooth things over, they tore down the old train depot, and that's when they built the Union Station here on our right-hand side. So each day, they say about 100 people are moving here to the metro Nashville area. That's Davidson County, the county you're in, and counties that touch Davidson County. There's about 1.7 million of us living here right now, but with that 100 people coming every day, they say we will double our population in 20 years to 3.4 million. And you see the results of that, not just here, but also the counties around Davidson County, like where I'm from, Murfreesboro. My parents moved there mid-60s. It was maybe a town of 20 to 25,000 people. Today, over 160,000 people live there. The county it's in, Rutherford County, is actually one of the fastest growing counties in the United States. All right, so on your left, you'll see this white building coming up, and that's going to be called Adele's. It's a restaurant owned by Jonathan Waxman. He named it after his mother. He was one of the runners when he sees on Top Chef. Now back in the day, it was a car garage. But don't worry, about every 3,000 to 5,000 customers, they do change out the cooking oil. Now, if Adele's is not your thing, right next door, there's going to be that famous Scottish restaurant in McDonald's. Now, premises are on the other side of the red light. That's called the Nashville Yards. 17 acres being redeveloped. We've got the Grand Hyatt. We've got apartment living, restaurants, boutique shopping, IMAX theater, 4,000 seat auditorium, where everything is said and done over there in the Nashville Yards. Now, once we clear the building to your right, now maybe some of y'all can still see it, but that's Union Station. It's a Victorian Romanesque Bible style building. It's built out of Bowling Green gray stones and Tennessee marble. Opens up October of 1900. Now at the top of the clock tower was originally a bronze statue of the Roman god Mercury. And so I'm thinking the architect did not get the memo that Nashville is known as the Athens of the South. If he did, you'd think we'd just go with that theme and put the Greek god Hermes up there. Now, at times you do have to have reservations here to go to Adele's. It's a very popular place. Now, early in the tour, I talk about the fact that we have a Publix here in the downtown area, the first grocery store in the downtown area. That opened up fall of 2019. Now we have two. Across the street to your left is a Whole Foods. You see, up until late 80s, early 90s, nobody really lived downtown Nashville. At 5 o'clock, it became like a ghost town. Now, late 80s, early 90s, they started to convert some of the warehouses on 2nd Avenue into lofts. And the last 20 years, there's been more concerted effort to bring apartment living here to the downtown area. So now there's about 15 to 20,000 people that live in the downtown area. But again, 17 acres being redeveloped here in the Gulf, here in the Nashville Yard. So it's going to be like the anchor to the Broadway. Again, Broadway is the honky-tonk highway. And what's a honky-tonk? It's a place where you listen to country music live, drink, dance to your heart's content. There is no cover charge. And you're welcome to go inside and enjoy the music, the ambiance of these places. About every 3 hours, a new band does its stage. And if you happen to have children with you, well, most places up until 6 o'clock will allow children into their honky-tonks. Alright, so the last passenger rail service for Nashville, the Floridian, it goes from Chicago to Miami, and they shut down in 79. Now, when they do that, they shut down Union Station here in front of us. It stood empty for many years. Finally, some investors bought it, renovated it, turned it into a high-end hotel. I recommend you go into the lobby. You'll see the splendor, the beauty of the old train station. They kept it. Then on the other side, the Frisk Art Museum. Every 6 to 8 weeks, the new art is spawned to this Art Deco style building. It's a very beautiful building inside and out. If you're under the age of 18, you're in for free. It was the main post office. They consolidated the post office into the bottom floor. So here to your right, Union Station. Now look to the gap in the buildings here to your right. In the distance, you'll see the Westin Hotel. At the top of the hotel is their swimming pool. It's one of those infinity pools. Now, since you rode the daytime tour, there's the specialty tour in the late afternoon, early evening called the Solo Music City. You get a $10 discount for that if you want to ride that. It's about the music history of Nashville. And on your right is the Frisk Art Museum. You can see some of the exhibits here at the Frisk. But we've arrived to stop at number 12. Well, our trolley here by every 20 minutes stop. But the last tour today is leaving stop 1 at 4 o'clock. Here we are, stop number 12. And remember the tours after 4 o'clock end up at stop 13 at the end of the day. Eateries. One of those eateries is Princess Chicken, the original hot chicken in Nashville. And then also within that complex, the National Museum of African American Music. It's a very interactive museum. We do sell tickets for it. Best stop for that, stop number 2. It's just right across the street from the Ryman Auditorium. And as we make the turn, you'll be able to look down the honky-tonk highway, and then across the street to your right is the U.S. Custom House. Now, the cornerstone was laid back in 1877 by President Robert B. Hayes. Distant relation to Adelasia, who built the Belmont Mansion. Now, the significance of the building to your right, soon to your left, is this. It is the first federal building to be built here in the South after the Civil War. It symbolized the idea that Reconstruction is officially over here in the South. It's where the U.S. Federal Courthouse, the U.S. Post Office was located in that time period. You can't see it yet, but at the end of the road is a roundabout. And within that roundabout is an art installation. And the artist put a lot of thought into naming it. It's entitled Sticks. 27 70-foot long native hardwood poles. They go another 15 feet in the ground, and the vegetation you will see down there are native plants to Tennessee. Now we'll make this turn on the Mumbrim Street. It looks like Demon Brim, but it's the Mumbrim. First citizen of Nashville. He was a fur trader. He arrived here in the 1760s at that time of his life. At times he was in the cave that overlooked the Cumberland River, which is about 1 mile away from the downtown area. He moves here toward the 1780s, opens up a merchant hall and a tavern, lives up to the 1820s. His home has been located where Old Red is today. As Play Shelf is placed there at 3rd and Broadway. Now across the street to your left, and it stretches for 3 city blocks. It's the Music City Center, our convention center, one of the largest in the United States. 14 acres under roof right here. It's a Gold LEED certified building. It's a very green building. They have a 4-acre green roof. They grow vegetables during the summertime. They have a honeybee colony, 845 solar panel roof, 360,000 gallon rainwater preventer tank. Now they use that water to flush the toilets and the water plants. To your left, the Bridgestone Arena, home to the National Predators of the National Hockey League during the hockey season. It's known as Nashville. And down here to your right, our stop number 13, Country Music Hall of Fame. Bottom floor is free. The second and third floor, that's where we have admissions tickets. We do sell discount tickets to the Hall of Fame. You don't have to use the tickets today. There's like a 2-week window to use those tickets. On your left, the park is the Music City Walk of Fame. There's 100 Trolley stars embedded in that sidewalk. I'll let the fire truck pass by here. Stop 13, we'll have a trolley here about every 20 minutes or so, but the last tour day is in stop number 1 at 4 o'clock. And remember, all tours after 4 o'clock will end up right here at stop number 13.
We hope you enjoyed this last part and the entire series of the Hop On Hop Off Trolley Tour of Nashville, Tennessee. If you did, please like, subscribe, comment, don't forget the little bell icon so you know when the next video is coming out. And as always, all of our social media will be linked in the description box below. And thank you for watching.